Welcome back. Today, we're jumping into a text that stages a timeless debate about justice and equality. But it doesn't take place in a courtroom. Oh no, it takes place in the afterlife itself.
So let's dive right in. The whole thing kicks off with this committee of condemned souls, right? And they're led by a figure known as the Tempter. They're demanding what they call social justice directly from the Creator.
And this is where the main event starts. It's a real philosophical showdown. On one side, you've got Diesel. He's the leader of the rebels. And on the other, you have Evan, who's basically a lone voice arguing for things like cosmic law and personal responsibility. So, first up, they go head-to-head on the very idea of faith. Diesel's perspective? Hey, blind belief is a fantastic shortcut. Why bother proving anything? But Evan? No way. He thinks true faith is something you earn. It's the strength you build by actually wrestling with your doubts and coming out stronger on the other side. Okay, next topic. How do we get smart? How do we learn? Diesel's take is kind of wild. He says, hey, just be foolish. Making reckless mistakes is the fastest way to learn. But Evan's on the other side of the ring, arguing that real wisdom isn't about cleaning up your messes. It's about being mindful enough not to make them in the first place. And this is where you really see the heart of their entire conflict. Diesel basically argues that weakness and laziness create an opportunity for a higher power to step in and save you. But Evan's view is the complete opposite. He champions disciplined, persistent effort as the true path. So the Tempter, this guy Serpent, he sees he's losing the logical argument. So what does he do? He pulls a classic move. He totally reframes the debate. Suddenly, it's not about objective truth anymore. Now, it's all about everyone's right to their own subjective personal truth.
And just like that, with one word, the whole debate is off the rails. The committee votes, and suddenly, objective reality is out the window. It's all about whatever you feel is true. Riding this new wave of personal truth, Diesel makes his big pitch. He says, look, we're not wrongdoers. We're victims of an unjust system. Their entire case is that it's unfair they were judged for their choices, while the souls of the unborn got a free pass to heaven without ever being tested. Evan tries to jump back in, trying to cut through all this emotion with one simple core idea. He's basically saying, hey, your afterlife isn't about how fair the system is. It's a direct consequence of your own actions, of how you chose to use your energy. And this is when the rebels lay out their specific demands. And listen to this. They want an afterlife where your actions, your morals, your character, none of it matters. This isn't about equal opportunity, folks. This is a demand for equal outcomes, period. Everyone gets the same reward, no matter what. So it all boils down to this one powerful ultimatum. It's that classic leveling down argument. You know, if we can't have what they have, then they should be brought down to our level. Okay, so things are getting really intense, and this leads right to a vote. Serpent can feel the emotional momentum is on his side, and he decides to seize the moment, calling for a final resolution. But get this is hardly a democratic process. Before they could even hold the vote, the one person who disagrees, Evan, is literally bound, gagged, and dragged out of the room. So much for open debate, right? They are making absolutely sure the outcome is unanimous. Then the chairman calls for the vote. But listen very closely to how he phrases it. He doesn't say, all in favor of our specific demands. Nope. He says, all in favor say equality. He's not asking them to vote on a policy. He's asking them to rally behind a powerful, emotionally charged word. And the crowd just erupts. They're all chanting, equality, equality, literally moments after they physically removed the only person who disagreed with them. I mean, the irony is just, wow. But hold on, because the story is not over yet. So their demand makes its way all the way to the top, to the Creator. And surprisingly, the Creator agrees to honor their request, but with one tiny, insignificant alteration. So you'd think they won, right? I mean, they silenced their opponent, they won the vote unanimously, and their demand was approved by the highest authority in the universe. Seems like a total slam dunk. But did they really get what they wanted? And here it is, the Creator's final verdict. They get their wish. All the rebels are granted entry into paradise. They're made perfect. They get to spend all of eternity basking in the sun on a beautiful beach. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Well, their wish is granted in the most literal and ironic way imaginable. They get their eternal vacation with no work and no struggle, but they get it as identical, mindless grains of sand. They achieved perfect equality by being stripped of the very consciousness, identity, and free will that made them individuals in the first place.
And that's what this cosmic story leaves us with. It forces us to look really closely at our own definitions of fairness and justice. And it challenges us to ask ourselves, when we demand equality, are we asking for an equal opportunity to choose our own path? Or are we asking for an equal outcome that frees us from the consequences of those very choices?